Alright, so 1994's Pulp Fiction is the second film from writer and director Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino is personally one of my favorite directors of all time. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. And along with that, it is the first Quentin Tarantino movie I ever watched. And essentially in the film, you're following 4 different stories, following these characters, 2 mob hitmen, a boxer, a gangster, and his wife, and a pair of diner bandits. Among the cast, you have actors like John Travolta playing Vincent Vega. We also have Samuel L. Jackson playing Jules Winfield. We have Uma Thurman playing Mia Wallace, Bruce Willis as Butch Coolidge, Ving Rhames as Marcellus Wallace, Tim Roth as Pumpkin, and Amanda Plummer as Honey Bunny. And there's a little cameos in there from actors like Christopher Walken. We have Harvey Keitel in there. A little blink and you'll miss it kind of cameo is Steve Buscemi, who plays the waiter dressed up as Buddy Holly. But getting into the film itself, it has a very interesting way of storytelling where it is non-linear, which essentially means that the scenes that you're watching aren't necessarily in chronological order. And some may view that as purely a stylistic choice and may even be a little pretentious. But for me personally, I think it adds a lot to the story and the way it intertwines everything the way that he wants it to. But I also want to mention this isn't the only time that he uses this non-linear form of storytelling. He also used it in the Kill Bill films. But it's a way of storytelling that I think a lot of people associate with Tarantino as a writer. I could go on and on all day about how great this movie is, how great the acting is, how great all the actors work together, how great the script is, how quotable it is. Of course, the moment everybody thinks of when they think of Pulp Fiction is Samuel L. Jackson's monologue in the film, which I watch with full attention every time it comes on. He is great in this film, along with everybody else, like I said before. But I guess my biggest complaint about this movie is the usage of the N-word. Now, in a movie like Django Unchained, it makes sense why you have a bunch of white guys saying the N-word. And it's not like you have a bunch of white guys saying the N-word in this movie, but you only have one guy saying the N-word in this movie, and it's the one that counts most. And that, of course, is Quentin Tarantino, who plays the character Jimmy in this movie. He says the N-word 4 to 5 times in the film, which, you know, it's not the most it's said in the film by any character, but at the same time, since it's him saying it, it feels kind of weird. Not because it's just a white guy saying the N-word, but it's because it's a white guy saying the N-word that wrote it for himself to say in a movie. It's just one of those things, especially in this film, that feel awkward and unnecessary and uncomfortable, and I just don't see the reason for it. And don't take this as me trying to be the white savior by any means. It's just one of those things that ever since I watched the film, even for the first time, one of those things that kind of made me uncomfortable about it that I wanted to mention here. The last complaint that really isn't even a complaint for me is the runtime, which might be a complaint for some other people. It's about 2 hours and 30 minutes long, which is a very long film. But for me personally, I never really feel that runtime. I think it allows the story to breathe. It allows for the characters to all have their moments. And I think the runtime is perfect. And when it comes to my ranking, I actually have a new ranking system when it comes to older movies. It's a retro film ranking system. I know what some of you are thinking. You're making me feel old by calling this movie retro. I know, I'm sorry, but for any movie that's not in the theaters, and also maybe not on a streaming service like this one, I am going to go ahead and put it under this category. You already know that this is going to be at the top of the list for me. This movie, Pulp Fiction from 1994, is a certified classic. Have you seen Pulp Fiction? What do you think about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you in the middle? I definitely love this film. That is no shocker to hear for you guys. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite Tarantino movies of all time, if not my favorite. Kill Bill Volume 1 would be a very close second. Which, by the way, if you want a review for the Kill Bill movies, let's get this video to 100 likes, and I'd love to do it for you guys. But have you not seen Pulp Fiction? Let me know if you're going to plan on watching it anytime soon. And if you say no to watching it anytime soon, I will personally come to your house and make you watch it. I know that sounds a little aggressive, so I'll sweeten the deal and go ahead and pay for the rental. But in all seriousness, if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, do yourself a favor and watch it before you die. That also sounds vaguely threatening, I'm sorry. But do me a favor and leave a like on the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next one.